Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody inside and outside the ballpark. My name is NovedPlayer, and welcome to episode 42 of the Noved Nodes podcast, where we talk about many different types of creators inside of the VRChat platform. I'm your host, and with me today, I have one of the filmmakers of VRChat. Actually met at a convention here in VRChat known as Forjadores, if you remember that episode. But we have JPGX Animations. That is really weird to say the full thing.
Yeah, very nice to be here. Yeah, no, but you got it spot on. You said it right.
Fair enough. Well,
Yeah.
JP, welcome to the podcast. Hope you're doing well.
Hello, I am. Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah. So for the general listening audience at home, what exactly do you do inside of VRChat?
Gotcha. So, hey guys, my name is JP, better known as JPGH Animations, and I'm mostly a 2D artist that specializes on doing digital art and animations. However, VR is clearly a very, to me, a very key part of my life. I love everything about this game and how not only is it like a game, but it's also a tool. And for that reason, I've just fallen in love with so many aspects of this game that I decided to, dedicate myself into doing content creation for this game. I've been doing it for quite a while. I've been on VR for about 3 years now. I think I know the ins and outs of everything that this game has to offer right now. And I'm currently planning, before going back to fully working on my art and whatnot and my animations, I decided that I'm gonna give VR content creation one more shot. And by the way, I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I stumble a bit over my words.
You're good.
It's been quite a bit since I had to explain all of this, but yeah. To kind of wrap up my VR content creation era, I guess you could say, I'm preparing a very big project that's basically a VRChat movie filmed completely in here. That's going to be basically feature length, and it's probably my most ambitious project to date.
I gotcha. So I guess one of the first questions in that regard then, so what made you want to, create a full-length film in the first place? Like you said, you're doing VR like content creation for a while. So what made you want to make like an actual like VRChat movie essentially?
So there's actually a lot of different reasons as to why. However, to keep it brief, mainly it has to do with the fact that funny enough, I actually stumbled onto VRChat content creation by complete accident. I already loved the concept of VR, but kind of the chance for me to express myself and do role playing and voice acting kind of just fell into my lap. I'm not even kidding when I say this. Long story short, one day I went into a VR map. I dressed up as a funny pharmacist. I did a backflip. I said, and out of nowhere, I was just filming with VTubers and content creators everywhere for the longest time, doing all sorts of voices, all sorts of stuff. Though that's the thing, all of that kind of fell into my lap accidentally. And so it never really was my intention to be here for a while, but so I fell in love with this place. I fell in love with, in general, like the community of content creators, and especially my new home, which is basically Forjadores Hispanos. I think you had Rafi the other day in this very same podcast. Yeah, mm-hmm. She's very nice. And so, yeah, this long story short, this movie, I'm planning on making it so I can like show the world that this game can be used for more than just like memes, basically, or just like unserious types of content, like content farms and whatever. And just to give a gift for all the people that have been so nice to me and have given me a chance to like fully express myself through role play and art. This is like my final gift to like the entire community of VRChat, basically.
I gotcha. Yeah, no, that's really cool. I was going to say, so I guess one of the questions, kind of to go back in the timeline a little bit. So, what got you
Mhm.
interested into VR and VR chat in the first place?
Right. Um, it's actually kind of interesting. I saw a lot of, fun enough, around like the Ugandan Knuckles meme era. I saw a lot of like videos in regards to this game where you could go like in VR, and it was kind of like Roblox, but it looked way cooler because I was never into like those sorts of PC games, I guess you could say. But
Mhm.
then VR chat hooked me because I've always been a fan of like being fully immersed in worlds. Since I've never been really like capable of like playing, for example, HD games and whatnot. I was mostly relegated to like last gen consoles and whatever. And so I said, you know what? When I have enough money, let's give it a shot. I would really like to try this VR thing. It looks really cool. And what do you know? 2021 comes around, the pandemic starts, and well, the pandemic is rolling around, and I say to myself, you know what? This seems like the best chance than ever to like get it and see what it's all about. And I come to realize that not only is VR really cool, but also the platform itself is really awesome. Because not only does it allow you to be whoever you want to be, but also it allows you to act in whichever way you want to act. And I'm actually at a benefit because I love doing voices. I love just acting and role playing. Well, not to brag, but I have a pretty varied and vast range in terms of like my vocal performance.
Mm.
And so, yeah, just being able to shift characters just on a whim really is what like sealed the deal on like me making. Well, actually, no. It is what made me fall in love with VRChat. But what sealed the deal was the fact that there here were content creators just like me that wanted to like express their ideas to the world. And when I saw immediately that not only there were like content creators, but content creator groups and also like, whole communities such as Forjadores, I said, nah, the seal is done. VR is now officially like a key part of my life now.
No, fair enough. I'll say it's definitely a lot of things that led up to that point, to say the least. Um, so
Yeah.
I guess one of the questions, because we've mentioned Forjadores a few times now. So what kind of got you
hmm
into, what got you? How did you learn about Forjadores?
Well, it's actually kind of interesting because back when I started doing the role of Dr. Simi on role play videos, basically to give a little bit of context, however, before we continue, little segue. Dr. Simi is a very famous Mexican like pharmacy mascot, basically. And so somebody made like an avatar. It just so happened that I could do the voice. And yeah, I started recording with a lot of YouTubers, being the funny Mexican pharmacist that says Juan does the backflip. And yeah, no, as time went on, and as I decided who like my real friends were and who like I was best suited with like hanging around, I came across like this event called Forjadores actually last year. And I heard about this event actually on the Oxo map while we were recording one of our videos because it was being promoted there. And so I thought I saw it was like an event of some sort. I was like, oh, cool. This seems really cool. I should enter. But then real life stuff kind of got in the way. And then I said, maybe next year, But for now, what is this for Hellores thing? I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna see what it's all about. And then I come to find out they have like meetings every week, and I'm like, oh, okay. And so
Hmm.
I went to the meetings and I kept meeting people, and yeah, it's obviously not confirmed officially yet, but I'm actually planning on now being a full member of the Forjadores team for the next Forja Versario, which should be really cool. So yeah,
Hell
this
yeah.
is basically my stance with Forjadores these days. Yeah, as of today.
Hell yeah, that's awesome. I'm glad to hear that. So I
Yeah.
guess kind of like, kind of go a little bit further into the timeline a little bit, because you've already released
Mhm.
a trailer for the upcoming movie.
Oh,
So I guess kind of to
yep.
give a little bit of context to the movie itself, what can you tell us
hmm
in regards to the trailer? In the trailer specifically, like like who are we seeing? Like what exactly is going on? Like what is essentially the trailer? in a nutshell for those that may have not seen it yet.
Gotcha. So, okay, before I begin, just full disclosure, the trailer, for those who want to watch it, is in Spanish. However, it does have English subs, and I'm planning on giving the entire movie English subs. So, like, it can be seen by both American and Mexican viewers alike. With that said, though, the trailer itself is for my movie called Dr. SIMI vs LOXERNIA. And basically, in the simplest way I can put it, the movie's about a pharmacist, Dr. Simi, who's just kind of tired of doing the same old thing every single day. He wants to branch out. He doesn't know how to. He's stuck with a pharmacy. Barely anybody goes to it, or even then, like much less wants to like go work there. And so the pharmacist just hopes for something better in his life to come along. And what do you know? A big goth it's just that I'm trying to keep this PG.
You don't have to keep it PG. You don't have to keep it PG. You're good.
Right. And so the best way I can describe it is one day he gets a visit from this goth girl called Loxernia, which is basically my OC, like in my art side. And basically, she's a villain that's basically 130 feet tall. 130 meters tall. She's fucking huge. She doesn't give a crap about anything. And so that's the thing. Two opposing like personalities meet. Both have really strong personalities. One's all about order and one's all about chaos. And what starts as a very simple argument from the pharmacist, as a very simple request, which is for Lox, basically the giant goth, to stop sitting on his pharmacy because she's going to destroy it. A very simple argument turns into a nuclear war, a full-out like reign of chaos and destruction upon Mexico City. And it just ends in a shit show, basically. That's the best way I can put it. And so, yeah, what's seen in the trailer is a lot of action, a lot of drama, a lot of emotion. And rest assured, despite the fact that the subject of the movie does seem really stupid at first glance, which, just full disclosure, it is meant to be a little stupid. It does have a lot of heart. The trailer kind of shows a little bit of it. But yeah, it's my full intention to show that despite the fact that this movie is mostly an action-based comedy, I want to show like a bit of seriousness and a little bit of drama and a little bit of character struggle. So yes, I can showcase that, yeah, as a matter of fact, if people put their minds to it, they can create something that truly has like emotion and passion. When it comes to content creation inside this game.
I gotcha. No,
so, yeah,
absolutely.
That's basically what it has. Yeah.
That makes sense. I guess, kind of to go into that a little bit more. So out of curiosity, if you know the number on the top of your head, how many worlds in total did you use for the trailer alone?
For the trailer alone, jeez, I would say around maybe. Hold on, let me think about it. Definitely more than 5, around 10 maybe. I know for sure the final movie has way many more maps than that and way many more avatars. But yeah, maybe around 5 or 10, I think. Definitely, we have a lot of varied locations in this movie.
Fair enough. So I guess kind of to go into that a little bit, was there any struggle in deciding like what maps you chose for the movie in general?
That's actually a pretty good question. So sometimes there were. I actually thought a couple times about straight up just commissioning somebody to do like an original map for me. But thankfully, with enough time and dedication, I just spent a lot of time here, just looking for maps, looking for content creators, looking for like map creators specifically, just kind of going around my friends and stuff, and thankfully we did manage to find all of the maps that I actually needed to film. Though funny enough, for the very few instances where like something we couldn't even either find the map or like an avatar, or like we couldn't even film it due to the limitations of VRChat. I am actually planning on animating over those bits, funny enough, with my own like artistic abilities. So thankfully, there will be no empty holes when it comes to like the full release of my movie, because I'm doing like a blend of several things, just so it's like a very complete package.
I get you. So I guess to kind of go into that part a little bit, because you say you're going to be animating. So what exactly? Because you have it based in VRChat. So what other things are you going to be, doing that may be different from, let's say, other made in VRChat films?
That's enough. Damn, you make really good questions over. Holy crap. So, long story short, yes, I have done my research, and I have talked not only to a lot of content creators, but I've also just seen a lot of VRChat movies, mainly from the Hispanic community. But yes, I've seen like my fair share of movies here, not only to be inspired, but also to avoid some pitfalls that some of these movies like tend to fall into. For example, when I've been watching movies made in VRChat with my friends, I've received, I've seen several like complaints, basically. Like I've heard a lot of buzzwords such as like it's getting boring, there's a lot of talking, it's a little too long, not much is happening. And so I've kind of just taken a very good look at all these things and like the feedback that my friends have kind of given me. Oh, because that's the thing, my friends have also seen a cut of the movie and they say that it's great. And I haven't like swindled them or anything. I've told them to be like very cold and very honest with their opinions, which, just to me, that's like a very good sign. And so, yeah, I can definitely say that like compared to other VRChat movies, the quality, for example, the editing is gonna be a very big priority. It's gonna be very dynamic. The camera work is gonna be very varied as well. Also, in general, like the acting is definitely gonna be like quite a highlight, because I got several voice actors, I got several people that are very knowledgeable into like role playing. Heck, I even got some of my friends that weren't even like that good of like into role playing, or just had begun role playing. And what do you know? It's secondhand nature, because I guess, right, that they would love to act in my movie, And so, not only that, I think the biggest highlight definitely has to be presentation. I want to make this flashy. I want to make this big. I want to make this ambitious, which, is the reason why I even want to animate my own, like, animated flair into the whole thing, so that the action scenes can really shine, really pop, and just overall it's like it makes the final package just keep you glued to the screen the entire time, no matter what language you speak.
No, I gotcha. And to kind of, because there's a lot of great film studios out there when it comes to VRChat. I mean, there's like Portal Media, Studio Penrose, Metacosm. So I guess as a person who's working solely, or at least to an extent, like you don't have like a big team behind you, I guess is what I'm saying. You have your actors, you have your voice actors, but as a solo independent director, I guess is what I'm trying to say. What are some of the hardships you have faced in creating like the film up to this point?
Oof. Definitely I would have to say like just recording the stinking thing. It's been quite a long process. Editing's fine. I can do that shit for breakfast, But the issue was just like scheduling. and like getting and settling with like content creators and stuff to like help me out, because everybody wanted to help me, but each person had like their own different like schedule, like the things that they needed to do or say. And it was just like a whole game of like sort of cat and mouse, seeing who like needed to like help me out. Well, no, who, when they wanted to help me out and where, and like if they were like if they only had a quest, if they had PCVR, if they had full body, like if they even then, for example, a very good example of this, I think the longest I've had to record with somebody definitely has had to be the voice actress for Loxernia, my main character. Well, the main villain of the movie. Because that's the thing. I came to find out that even though she does role plays in VR, she much better actually likes professionally voice acting with like a script and everything and like the microphone in front of her. And so funny enough, thanks to her, the movie went from being mostly like improvised because, well, yeah, I wanted to capture like the goofy sort of meme nature of VRChat. But I all like it went from that to like just as if I was making a real movie. Like, you know, I had to sit down for a couple of days and actually write a script, which like caught me off guard. But I was like, you know what? No, the more the better, you know. But that is a reason why this movie has taken so long to come out. Every time I see like a cool idea I want to add to like this whole project, I say, you know what? Fuck it, let's do it, and I add it. But of course, that adds to like the time of editing and planning, and well, I guess now script writing, I guess you could say.
Right.
So yeah, definitely, I think that has been the biggest hurdle so far, for sure.
I gotcha. So, kind of to go into
Yeah,
that a little bit, but you had some
yeah,
friends like review it. So, I guess one of the questions I wanted to ask, because obviously I'm assuming it's gonna go out on YouTube, probably, if I'd assume. Um,
yep.
so, I guess
Mhm.
one of the questions I want to ask, since you're kind of your own studio per se, what is your plan to essentially get the movie out there more into like the VR chat sphere or just online in general?
Right. So first of all, is by going in interviews such as this one, basically. And second of all, yeah, I'm just kind of trying to branch out and talk to like not only as many content creators as possible, but also just in general planning like cool stuff. Basically, holding cool events. Basically, promoting my project via posters, which are basically, well, that's thankfully where my skill comes into play, because I'm also my own like graphic designer and like artist basically. So if I have an idea, I can just poof it into existence basically. Um, and so yeah, I've just been planning on making a lot of cool posters that really catch your eye, putting them in very general, like very popular, like VR chat HubSpots. Also just talking to a lot of my friends to see if I can like, you know, promote my project around like their servers, their communities, like trying to see like if they can maybe like, well, I guess retweet some of the announcements I make. But also, I try not to make it a little too often. I don't want to, of course, I don't want to spam. I don't want to be all the time like, oh my god, my trailer, my project. And so I'm very carefully considering what's my next step gonna be. When's the next big reveal gonna be? When's the next like poster gonna be showcased? Basically, I want to make every single bit of like me showcasing this project like a big event on its own. Basically,
I gotcha. Well, that's really cool
yeah,
that you kind of have somewhat of a game plan in that regard. So I guess
yeah.
one of the things I wanted to ask, because you've been doing it for a little while now. So I guess
Mhm.
for maybe those that are like interested, listening at home or wherever they're at, if you had one piece of advice to give to them when it comes to content creation and starting content creation, what would it be?
Hmm. Okay, so this is actually kind of good. I don't want this to sound like drama, but it's like genuine advice I can give to people out there. Just don't be posers. Don't be posers. Do what you like. Do what you love. Don't chase trends. If you love role playing, do it. If you love making sketches or films, do it. If you like making podcasts or events or like hangouts or whatever, do that. Don't go chasing after skibidi toilet. Don't go chasing after like TikTok trends. Like, yeah, no, it's so stupid. But I've seen my fair share of like content creators that are really big. I've been around, and I can definitely say that I've seen empires rise and empires fall, and that's most of the time because like they just they're basically ungrateful towards like the people that helped them out, but mostly because, like I said, they chase trends. And so I've seen just so many cases of somebody being at the top and they get really just in it for the views, basically, that like suddenly, after chasing a trend, what do you know? That trend is not relevant anymore. So if you keep making videos of that, like, actually, no. Somebody made a trendy video and then they made another and another and another. And what do you know? Because like each spurt of viewership came from that very specific niche of people. You don't have a specific audience anymore, buddy. You're basically, your viewer base is just like scattered, because you didn't decide to be yourself and focus on the stuff that you like doing the most. So I would just say, yeah, just be passionate about what you want to do. Just, if you want to do it, just do it, and definitely avoid being like double-sided or like basically like, yeah, just being in it for the views, because in the long run it's not gonna work out for you, and in fact it's gonna come back to bite you in the ass. That's basically the best advice I could give.
Hello everyone, real quick, just want to pause the episode right here. I want to thank you all so much for watching this far into the video. Just to let you know, myself and a bunch of other creators that were on the podcast are going to be featured at Winter VCat as well as Music VCat 6. So please make sure to go to the Worlds tab, go check out all of the Winter VCat as well as Music VCat 6 worlds. But yeah, make sure to go check out all of the worlds in the VRC tab. Under the worlds, you'll see the little Winter Virtual Market 2024. Go check it out. It's going to be great. You might see me there. But yeah, I want to thank you all so much for watching, and with that, let's get right back into the episode. Woo! No, I gotcha. And that is pretty sound advice when it comes to that. Now, granted, some people may follow the trends just to kind of see what it's all about, but to an extent, I understand. There's a right way and a wrong way of following trends. You just got to make sure you do it the right way.
Yeah, exactly. And if I can add just a tiny bit to that, if you want to follow trends, it's fine. If you want to do something in regards to something that's new, it's okay. You just gotta make sure that you're like, first of all, if you want to discover it, that you're well informed, first of all. And second, that you like you have to think to yourself that you have to ask yourself if you're genuinely like interested in the subject. Because, for example, I used to be a really big I'm a really big Has Been Hotel fan. I was a fan even before the show came out, and that's the thing. I had two sides of people that were really into that show. And yet, like, both people wanted to do content creation on them, on the show, but like both varied vastly in terms of like what they wanted to do. So one person actually sat down and watched the show and wanted to do like a role play, and the other one straight up just did like which one of the Has Been Hotel characters is the Sussy Baka imposter inside Roblox? You know what I mean? And so there's a very clear difference on where exploring trends comes to play. Basically, that's definitely for sure from my experience.
Fair
enough.
What
I believe, at least.
Fair enough. Well, I guess kind of to kind of go into more details in regards to the movie, because I believe if I remember correctly in the timeline, the trailer came out a couple months ago. Does that sound right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I guess one of the questions I wanted to ask, so let's kind of go into the characters a little bit, because you kind of briefly discussed a few of them, but like, let's go a little bit more in depth. So who, let's talk about the main, the main doctor, himself. So I guess kind of one of the questions I
Gotcha.
wanted to ask, you kind of mentioned a little bit, but let's go more in depth on what exactly caused this character to exist.
Right. So, it's funny, but going back a little bit into the thing where I said about like me having my start in VRChat, yes, it just started as me just doing like a silly voice just for fun, kind of like in a map, a very popular map in Latin America, here in VRChat called the Oxo. It's basically a Mexican 7-Eleven. And yeah, no, from there, like basically I started recording with some YouTubers because they basically my performance caught their eye. And from there, his personality started to like gradually be built up. So he became a very how do I put this? Very cowardly, very well-meaning, but very clumsy. Just very not that bright. He has a big heart, but he's definitely not the sharpest tool in the shed. He means well, though he just kind of lacks charisma. He's kind of dorky. And so that's the thing. In my movie, he's never had to face like challenges before in his life. He's mostly, well, in my past YouTube episodes that I've done with him, he's mainly had to like overcome like very simple hurdles, such as stopping like a bunch of vandalism inside the Oxo, going to like a music festival, going to trial because he was illegally trafficking penguins and other materials, I guess you could say, alongside the animals, running away from the Mexican cartel. He's been in some very crazy situations, though for sure he's never had to face something like this, like what he's about to face in the movie. Poor guy doesn't even know like what he's gonna do. He's just a very simple pharmacist. He's old. He just wants to retire, and now he has to fight a force of nature. So things are not looking well for him. That's for sure. He's receiving a lot of help from his friends, such as basically a military commander from Bolivia. His furry friends, Carl Weiser, Squidward. I'm trying to really
Through a
remember.
left field with Carl Weiser, but fair enough.
He Poe from Kung Fu Panda. He's just trying to glam rock Freddy. Just basically any friend he can find in VRChat, in the vast, weird confines of the world of VRChat. He's just trying to look for help. He doesn't know who to go to. But at the end of the day, sadly, despite being well-meaning, his stubbornness and his anger issues get a lot out of him at the end of the day. And so, sadly, he just, as the movie progresses, he keeps digging like his hole deeper and deeper and deeper because he just doesn't know how to act properly. And so that's the thing. Both the Pharmacist and LOXERNIA, my OC, they have a very strong personality, which is gonna make for a lot of funny interactions. Because, like I said, one is just trying to like be at calm and at peace and just like keep to his own business and tend to his failing pharmacy. And the other just wants like to fuck with somebody for fun. Lux just wants to be there just to like mess with somebody for the day. But the poor guy, he's got a heart condition, he's got asthma, he can't handle it. So the more the movie progresses, the more hellish the situation becomes for the poor pharmacist.
Fair enough. That's dude, that poor pharmacist. First and foremost.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's what's up. So I guess
Yeah.
one of the questions I wanted to ask, in that regard, because as you've had already mentioned a few of them, it's definitely a variety of characters. So I guess one of the questions I wanted to ask, Was it completely randomized when choosing like some of these other like, IP, like famous IP characters, or was it kind of like, oh, well, this makes sense for this reason, this makes sense for this reason, or is it just completely random?
It's actually a mix of both, funny enough. Well, I mean, except for Luxernia, except for the main villain, because she was always intended to be there from the start. Because I deliberately wanted this project to be like very weird and abstract in terms of like the themes and like the people that meet each other, you know? So the main focus is just like kind of two things to make these two creative worlds of mine collide, which is like my art side and my VRChat side, and also to just highlight how weird and strange VRChat is, which is what makes it so appealing to me. And so, for example, if I brought up Carl Weiser was because at one point I was just recording and a friend of mine just came up and said, "Hey, can I do the Carl Weiser voice?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, fuck it." Let's see, let me think of something for you. And then I thought of it, then I recorded it. But then, like, going back to your question, I guess you could say, the reason there's just so many weird characters is mainly has to do with the fact that all my friends just do very different things. For example, the voice of Luxernia just likes doing role plays as like a very like sort of chill ASMR, sort of like sensual like artist, I guess you could say. So I said, your voice would fit perfectly for my character. Another friend of mine likes doing Skipper from the Penguins of Madagascar. He's got his whole crew. He does like role plays of the Penguins of Madagascar. Another one likes doing role plays of Poe. Another one used to do role plays as Glamrock Freddy. And even then some other friends, for example, the reason I bring up like the military like commander from Bolivia, he's actually a furry friend of mine who just likes to scream a lot. When he screams, it sounds like he's getting like assaulted or like robbed or whatever. He sounds like he's really begging for his life. So I said, you know what, you're gonna be the commander, because like in these scenes where there's a lot of destruction, you can just yell your lungs out and just make it seem like the most horrific thing is happening on screen. And so yeah, that's why like the variety of characters is just like so weird. It's very deliberate.
Fair enough. No, it's definitely a crazy thing to think about. So I guess
Yes.
kind of to kind of get off the character side of a little bit.
Uh-huh.
So with how the progression so far has come with the film, in your personal opinion, is there a specific scene that people should look forward to the most, in your personal opinion?
Oof, this is a really good fucking question. um, Definitely, I would say the big highlight of the movie has to be the fight. There's a lot of highlights to this movie. Though, see, here's the thing. The way I'm approaching this movie, I want to have it so that it's kind of paced a little bit like Jurassic Park, because that's like my favorite movie of all time. And that means that the first half is gonna be kind of like just to set everything up. Is gonna be to like just kind of like set up the characters and just kind of set up like the general conflict and whatever. And then after the second half, I just want it to be a fucking roller coaster ride. But so that leads us to the scene I'm looking forward to showing off the most, which is the fight, like the Dr. Simi versus Luxernia bit, because I'm not only gonna make it like very briefly like recorded inside VRChat, because yes, we got like that's the thing I forgot to say. We got like custom like avatars and models made for this fight, such as for example, Luxernia, my main villain, and like basically I don't want to spoil it, but Dr. Simi's final form, basically. The Pharmacist has a final form. But so going back a little bit onto track here, I'm gonna, for the fight, it's mainly like it's gonna showcase a bit of like action inside VR, but mostly it's gonna be fully animated by me. And it's just gonna. I've done the storyboards, I've done the planning, and it's really gonna shine. And if it's not that scene, then I would say like the very very finale, because there's barely animation in that bit, but I just push VRChat to its limits. Green screen, acting, editing, music choices, sound effects. Which, by the way, not only am I editing the movie, I'm also like adding like sound effects as if it was like an animated movie. It's gonna be nuts. Those two scenes definitely, I think, are gonna be like the ones people should look forward to the most. Absolutely.
Yeah, I gotcha. Well, that's awesome.
Yes.
It's kind of cool to hear, like, that there's going to be a cool fight scene that's not only filmed but also animated as well. That's really cool. I don't know if I've ever heard of a VRChat film also including animation. I think that might. I know somebody that's on my friends list is going to be down in the comments fucking correcting me, like, "Oh, you saw this movie?" I'm like, "Oh yeah." I see a lot of VRChat movies, so they kind of all get blurred. Because I've seen one
Gotcha.
that had a combination of like real life and VRChat.
Oh,
Yeah, it was.
really quickly, I do want to say there is a live action segment in my movie. I did forget to say, but yes, there is a live action movie with like puppets and like IRL like actors and stuff. It's really funny. But yes, I also have something like that as well for my movie.
Fair enough.
But do go on.
Yeah, no, you're good.
Yeah,
I was say, oh my gosh, I can't remember. Post editor, I know you're gonna figure it out. Just throw the poster. I want to say it's called Blurred Lines. I think.
Oh.
I'll go to VFI and check it out. I'll put it on the screen. If post editor, you know what to do. But
Gotcha.
no, it's kind of cool what people can do when it comes to making VRChat movies, because every VRChat movie is different in its own sense. Whether it's a completely random movie, or if it's a full-fledged like choreographed fight scene, or whether it's a whole story, or whatever the case may be, or a dramatic thriller. There's a lot. There realistically is a lot when it comes to that. So I guess in that question, or in that regard, when it comes to the progression of the film, so obviously you had the trailer a couple months back. So do we have an ideal release date for the film itself?
Oh, sadly, I don't think so. Funny enough, at the end of the trailer, we do get like 2024 or like winter 2024. But sadly, we are not gonna make it there. The film's not even halfway finished. But I will say it's very far along in production. Very far along in production. The only bits I have to still kind of do is like I have to edit by myself just a couple more scenes, get my voice actress to kind of like read the lines that I had planned for her, like basically the remaining ones, because she's already filmed a lot. And yeah, no, just for sure like patching some things out, adding the sound effects, and yeah, we should be golden. Main issue is though, is that sadly kind of real life has kind of like reared its ugly head, and I've just had to like deal with a lot, and I mean a lot. Funny enough, the movie was supposed to come out last year. Because it started production on July of last year. Though sadly, like starting in July, I ran into a lot of issues, mainly having to do with like health from my now deceased grandma. Basically, a lot of time just kind of went into my studies, kind of into taking care of my grandma. Just kind of like doing all of these different things, tending like to like my house, etc., like my family. And not only that, we have a new cat. So like, as you can see, like everything just started happening all at once for in my life in general. And so now that, well, sadly, my grandma did pass away, And well, due to the fact that I voluntarily decided to step away from college for a bit to just kind of clear my mind and, for example, get commissions done, because I'm a freelance artist, first of all, so I do need to like work for what I've been paid to do. I've just been kind of having to balance a lot of things at once, but thankfully, due to like circumstances changing, I can now finally thankfully tend to this project that means so much to me. Um, and with all that said, hopefully this project comes out June of 2025. Though if it doesn't, then it will probably be winter of 2025. But like I said, even though I wanna make this project as best as it can be, I also don't wanna have it take like a billion years to come out. So 2025, I'll say, but we'll see. We'll see. Definitely.
No, fair, and I think that's a valid, reasonable timeline. Granted, I know you said you don't want to take a bunch of years on it, but realistically, you want to make sure it's got everything it needs and everything. So,
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't want to rush it or half-ass it by all means.
Right. Well,
Absolutely.
I'll say it's definitely kind of cool to get to learn more about it. So I guess before we kind of end it off, I do want to if there's anything that you want to talk about in regards to the film, anything that we may not have touched, what are some of the things that we could look forward to in the film?
Well, I'm actually very glad you asked that, because I really quickly just want to dive into one of the main elements of my movie. Well, the second most important element, which is my OC herself, the goth babe herself, Loxernia. I want to draw a highlight to her because this will probably be the first time I fully try to like flesh her out. And the reason I bring light to this is because after I'm done with VRChat, that's the thing. Really quickly, I just want to say, I'm not leaving VRChat. This is my second home, basically. I fucking love this game. I love the community. I love everything about it. But what I mainly mean by leaving VRChat is that I will eventually leave content creation behind, and from there on out, just kind of draw, and like even then I will still be around here, but like mainly doing art for example, for forjadores, or like graphic design and whatnot. But so after I'm done with all of this, I do want to make an animated pilot featuring my character as the main character, with Loxernia, basically. And so this movie will be like not only a love letter to VRChat, and not only like a way for me to show that everything that like everything this game can do, basically, and how it can be used and how it's like so cool. But also it will be like a gateway, and basically like a sneak preview, a taste of what's to come for me in the future. Because after this movie, big things are happening. I have a whole show laid out. It's basically like Has Been Hotel, like Digital Circus, like Hell of a Boss. My full intent is to have it be like not that big, because I also want to stay true to who I am. I don't want to chill out. But this movie is gonna be, in terms of like Loxernia herself, the villain, it's gonna be a gateway for like all the projects that I want to do in the future. Which, if like everything goes according to plan, they're gonna be really cool. So definitely look out for Lux herself out in the movie, and look out for her dialogue, because not only do I think I kind of showed off in the writing department, but also my voice actress, which is her name is Laura Divine. Um, she hit it out of the park. She really put her all into the character, and so definitely I would say just look out for that. For that in the movie, and well, for what I have in store for the future for my channel after I'm done with this super ambitious project of mine. That would basically be it.
No, fair enough. And honestly, best of luck in that regard, because it's not an easy feat, to say the least. But no, absolutely. Best of luck in all of that, and the future projects that you hold. But before we do end it off, I want to thank you first and foremost for coming on the podcast. I'll say it's
Hey, by
definitely,
all means, I had a lot of fun.
yeah, I'll say it's definitely cool to, kind of learn more about you and like how, not me kicking whatever I just kicked off my desk. We'll figure out what that is later. Yeah, we got this is the first episode with a new setup now, which is kind of absolutely bonkers.
Boy.
Yeah, so I'm not used to being at this desk like this. It's definitely weird. But JP, I do want to thank you again. So for the listening audience, I do want to give you a spot to, have you tell the people where they can find you, any links that you want in the description, on screen, all that stuff. But yeah, floor is yours. Go ahead and let them know where they can find you.
Thank you. So you guys can find me over at my YouTube channel called JP. What's the little minus symbol called? Like the hyphen.
You can say dash.
Yeah, JP-GH Animations over on YouTube. I do have a Twitter as well. You can find it on the social medias above my YouTube channel. But yes, my YouTube channel is my main platform, basically outside of like my other art platforms. But if you guys are interested in what I do on Sing the Movie, and even then, if there's some Spanish speakers out there who would like to see the funny pharmacist get into like crazy shenanigans, by all means, go to JP-GH Animations. And that, like I said, that's spelled JP-GH Animations, basically. But yeah, thank you very much, Noved. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no, of course. Thanks for coming on. But yeah, ladies, gentlemen, everybody inside and outside the ballpark, that is it for episode 42 of the Noved Knows podcast. I do hope you all enjoyed. And of course, if you enjoyed hearing more about JP and his upcoming film, make sure to go check out all the links. They'll be all in the description below. If you liked what we talked about, feel free to smack that like button. Leave a comment down below. For those that may have seen the trailer, what's your favorite scene in the trailer? If you haven't seen the trailer, I'll link it down in the description too. Go check out the trailer. I'll pin the comment. Just go check out the trailer. But hopefully, JP will be down in the comments checking out, kind of get some ideas of where people's thoughts are when it comes to the trailer.
Absolutely. I'll be reading every comment, so by all means, make sure to comment, and I'll be sure to answer any questions you guys have. By all means.
But of course, if you are coming back to see some of the other episodes, why not hit that subscribe button? You're already coming back anyway. But with that, I want to thank you all once again for watching or listening, depending on what platform you're on. And I will see you in the next episode. Take care and peace.
Goodbye.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Noved.